Continuing on evaluating bankruptcy, let's take some other things that should be a part of your decision making. The evilness of debts that are unfair and immoral. The credit card industry. I could spend an hour or more talking about the credit card industry, but in a quick summary, the reason that you're being charged all these absurd interest rates and default interest rates is a Supreme Court opinion from 1978 that essentially said that the states, Missouri and the other states, that they couldn't regulate credit card interest rates, that was federal law. And the Supreme Court, you read that opinion, by gosh, the Supreme Court, they sided with the credit card industry, interstate banking. Well, now, today we've reduced the number of banks by 2/3. There's no competition. You are paying historically unprecedented fees and expenses for everything you do with the bank because there's no competition. Again, if you look around your own city, you might see the names of different banks around town, but they may all be owned by the same holding company. That's what's going on. It's a big fraud on the American people. So that's the credit card industry. The credit card policeman. Well, the Supreme Court said no, the states can't regulate the credit card industry. Well, who can? Well, they gave it to the Federal Reserve. Well, the Federal Reserve is not part of the government. Most people don't know that. The Federal Reserve is a private corporation, and it has stock ownership just like any other corporation. Well, you can only own stock in the Federal Reserve if you're a bank. So the regulators for the credit card industry is the Federal Reserve. So you've got the Federal Reserve regulating people that own them. Well, that's why they've never done anything. Obama got elected, and all of a sudden the Federal Reserve came out and said they were going to come out with some new rules on regulating credit card companies. Well, where in the hell have they been the last 15 years? What a fraud. And are they going to adjust the interest rates that they've already charged you? What's on your bills today? No, of course not. So that takes care of that. But it's more than just the credit card policeman. During the last 8 years with Bush, nobody regulated anything. All the consolidations that went on, the federal antitrust laws were ignored. You pay more for everything now than you ever paid before as a percentage of your disposable income. Because, again, everything's been merged into the big boys. They're eating it all up. There is no competition. You can take any industry and look at the consolidation. Look at the gasoline prices. They went up last year, you remember? And the grocery prices shot way up. Well, now the fuel prices have went up and the grocery prices haven't went down much. Why not? Because there is no competition. It's all being put on you, the consumer. That distribution of wealth that I showed you? It's getting worse every day. This federal bailout to the banks and the investment houses, the unemployment that we have in this country, it's getting worse. And they want you to feel bad about thinking about bankruptcy? You opt out. You tell them to hell with their system. You don't need that. Don't destroy yourself and your family over a bunch of false cult beliefs. Medical bills. Let's look at the medical industry. Let's take Springfield and the local area here. In the name of God, how many more buildings do they need to build for their medical facilities? If you get on the internet and look at the national ratings for the quality of medical care, you're sure as hell not going to see Springfield, Missouri rated. They're not concentrating on improving your care. They're concentrating on controlling the market. So the bills are going to continue pouring in. In general, let's look at the medical industry. Why don't we in this country tell young kids in high school, hey, if you want to go to medical school, we'll pay for it. And then when you get out, you can get into some system where you help the American people. Why don't we have something like that? Why do doctors have to make $200,000 a year? What is this? Are we just supposed to exist for their benefit? I don't think so. You take your medical bills and you give them what they deserve morally, which is 100% of absolutely nothing. You come in to see me and I am going to cancel them out. You won't owe anything. The Missouri court dockets. That same Supreme Court that said Missouri or any of the other states couldn't regulate credit cards because that was a national federal matter? Well, where are they today where the Missouri courts are overwhelmed with credit card and medical bill lawsuits? Is the federal government paying for the court system here, our judicial salaries, all the court clerks and the expenses of running a court system for the benefit free of charge to the credit card industry and the hospitals? What kind of a fraud is going on, and what kind of a fool are you for worrying about filing bankruptcy? My gosh. Vehicle repossession. Let me tell you what I see here in my office a good part of the time. Somebody will repossess a car, one of these lenders. They'll take the car down to Arkansas. They'll sell it to one of their own companies on an insider deal for a very small part of what the car's worth. That other company, then, their affiliate, will then sell the car for what it's worth, and then they're going to sue the borrower here in Missouri for the absurd difference in price that came about because of their crooked sale. Now, how can they do that? It's because of Missouri law. The Missouri law lets them do that. So this is all crazy. Don't fall for that. More lawsuits likely to be coming. If you've been sued, the likelihood is other creditors are going to sue you as well. They all watch to see who's filing lawsuits and who's being sued, and they don't want to lose out on grabbing your assets. So if you've got one lawsuit, you're going to have another. Let's get on to the next video.